What's up, everyone? It is your girl GELBEAUTY7 here, aka Grace, and today I figured we could get into my 5 go-to palettes for latte inspired makeup looks. So every now and again when I'm in a rush and I have to go somewhere and do something, I have like no time to put on makeup, but I'm still going to put on makeup. I'll do a latte inspired makeup look, since that's what they call the Nudes now, just latte or whatever. But so I'm gonna get into the palettes that I normally use. Now some of them are warm tone and cool tone, so I'm counting the 3 mini palettes I'm gonna show you as one palette to just round it out to 5, just because I'm like, you know, they're mini palettes, they only have 5 shades. The average palette I use usually has 12 to like 15 shades at least, so I'm like, the 3 5 pans would equal 15, so I'm just counting this one palette. Anyway, first palette I have is the Patrick Ta Major Dimension palette. This is the original one. Although I do not like this as much as I like the second one, it is still a go-to when I'm in a rush, because like I know the mattes are going to blend smoothly and nicely. I'm not that crazy about the shimmer, so I might just do all matte look, or occasionally I'll use like one of the shimmers and just wet the brush to make it work. But this is definitely one of the go-to palettes I pick up when I need to do it quick. I gotta rush out the door, but I'm still putting on eyeshadow look. That's what all brown eyeshadow is to me. Like, I'm in a rush, I need to go somewhere, I know it's going to blend in effortlessly with me because it matches my skin tone, so that's just my go-to thing. So the next one I have to talk about is this Dose of Colors Golden Hour palette. Y'all know I live for golden hour, chasing the sun for my, you know, golden hour photos, so I thought it was a cute name, and it's a nice palette. You know, they have nice quality shadows. Just keep in mind their shadows are powdery when it comes to the matte, so it's going to have kick up in the pan. If you're like me, you're not a fan of kick up in the pan, you might not necessarily like this, but I feel like this one actually gives a lot of similar tones to the Patrick Ta one, so that one, pull them out and compare, because this might be a good alternative for you. I have another alternative for you all too, if you just I'm just trying to debate if I want to put this in that video or not, since now I'm showing you more than one. But yeah. Ooh. This is what both of them look like. Hope should turn it the other way. It's just I don't want the brush falling out. But this is what both of them look like side by side. So as you can see, they have some similar color stories, if you will. I feel like they have similar tones. I feel like this one has a little bit more of like that warm honey-ish like browns in it, but I feel like it still has a little bit of the warmth, so it might be a good alternative for you now to think about it if you don't want to get this palette, especially because the mattes in this, sorry, the shimmers in this one aren't nearly as good as the shimmers in the second one, and the third one, as we all know, then I have shimmers because it's all matte palette. But back to this palette, I feel like Dose of Colors is a brand that people have been sleeping on lately. I just made a whole video about why you shouldn't sleep on the brand and that they have quality products, and they just came out with a new collection with someone named Trevor. Now I don't know who Trevor is, but I've seen a few people actually showing the collection or whatnot on YouTube, so I'm glad to see that Dose of Colors will get some shine, because I love Dose of Colors. I love Dose of Colors palettes and other products. I think they have a new concealer too. I don't know if that's the same concealer, she just renamed it, or if it's like a new concealer, because I need to look into that, because I actually want to try it. Since we're trying all these other concealers, I figure I'll try that one too. I did buy the Lancome one, random side note, so it's supposed to be coming next week, and then the Gucci one's supposed to come next week too, so I just got a million concealers to try out. This is going to be an interesting complexion corner. It'll be like the month of a concealer, but I recommend this palette. It's a quick go-to for me. It has some nice tones in it that work for you if you like more warm tone. I am going to show some cool tone stuff too for the cool tone ladies, because you know, like, I'm a cool tone queen myself. Matter of fact, let's get into this cool tone palette here. This is Supreme Nudes from Artist Couture. I remember a couple of years ago when this first came out, 2 or 3 years ago, everybody and mama was talking about this palette and how wonderful it was. But I wasn't going to buy it just because I was like, you all know these aren't really my tones. But, you know, I was like, let's go ahead and try it out, since everybody's talking about how amazing the formula is. And the formula on this is really nice. This one to me, like I said, is more for like the cool tone ladies like me who love them a cool tone moment. My favorite shade in this palette is Opulence right here. I feel like there's lots of mattes that work in here for me. Just about every matte works in here for me except the shade Exposed. But I do like the fact that he kept it more on like the darker matte side than the warmer matte side. But then again, Angel or Mac Daddy does have a little bit more melanin in his skin, and is more on the tan or medium side, so I can understand why he would have more tones that work for medium, tan, and deeper skin tones in it than necessarily for fair to light, because he's using the palette as well and he thought about all that. But I appreciate him still making shades for them as well, even though that's not necessarily his skin tone. So I really like this. I really like the formula of this. I really like the colors that he chose in here, like especially this part right here, these three right here. If you want to do a quick matte look, I feel like you could just put these three right here on, because this could be your outer V shade, this could be your crease shade, this could be your lid shade, and then you just pop this or opulence in your inner corner, and then you have a whole look. Or if you like a matte inner corner like Angie, you could take this shade right here and you have a whole matte moment and a really nice eye look that didn't take that long. It was quick on the go, because the formula on this is really easy to blend out and it's very nice. So I personally am a fan, and that's why when I'm in a rush, I'm like, you know what I'm grabbing? I'm gonna go grab that Artist Couture real quick. Sorry, I had to throw that in the box while I was thinking about it, because it has to be compared to something else, because y'all know me, I'm always comparing something to something. And then I got some more intros to film for other videos, and then I still got to film the do you really need, why you don't need video for you all that you asked about. So I'm getting into that. So last, of course, we got Miss Natasha Denona. So I got this face glam palette, and then I got 3 of the midi palettes to talk about. So we ended with Natasha, but since Natasha does a whole lot of nudes, so she has like little 5 pans and little palettes like this that I can quickly grab and go. That's how she got to be put in here. So anyway, this is what she looks like on the inside. I like this one especially because it's like I can do a few things with it. Like I don't have to put my blush or my highlighter either. It's like I can put these shades on my eyes real quick after I put my foundation on real quick, and my bronzer, and then I got my blush and my highlighter in here. I want to know when Natasha Denona's gonna make bronzers like everybody else. Mother made bronzers, Charlotte made bronzers. I feel like it's certain things in her collection that she's lacking on that she should have had made by now. Like a new foundation. She finally came out with a concealer, but it's like you haven't made a new foundation in ages. And then she doesn't have any powders either. So I'm wondering when she's going to start focusing on those things. Random side note, instead of just making a whole bunch of eyeshadows. Because I feel like her collection is really complete. Like if you want to do a full face of Natasha Denona, I guess you could. But she only has like that one setting powder. And I'm like, you haven't come out with a new foundation since the matte one that she came out with. They had the matching concealer that was horrible. Which is why she had to come out with this concealer to redeem herself. So I'm just like, I feel like I want her to come out with bronzers and setting powder next year. Like all tones of setting powder though. I know, like it's totally random, but it's like when I looked at this palette, I thought about it. I'm like, you can do full faces of a whole bunch of other luxury brands that are like mainstream, but like hers isn't included because she hasn't come out with a new foundation in forever, or she only has that one setting powder and no bronzer. So, but I guess since she believes more in contouring, maybe that's why she doesn't have bronzer. I don't know, y'all. But back to the palette. I'm so sorry. I know I just randomly sidetracked off. But like I said, I can do pretty much my whole face with this because I have a blush and a highlighter, and then I have those eyeshadows. So it's like I start with my eyeshadows, put on my face, and then put that. Or if you'd like to do your eyes last, you can put on your blush and your highlighter and just immediately go into these shades. And then 5 easy shades to work with. You got this one and this one that you can put on the lid. Or you can do a 3-tone look with this one and these 3. So it's a nice little quick go-to grab palette, and I'm here for it. It's a whole vibe. So we're going to talk about these 3 mini palettes, and then we'll be done. So I'll start off with the cool tone one. So if you're a cool tone lover like I am, I feel like this would be a good one for you. Just keep in mind, if you're my skin tone, like this brown is going to run deep enough to your liking. So you might want to mix in your bronzer with it if you're in a rush. Or if you got a single black eyeshadow that's easily on hand, you can do that and then put this on top of it so it won't look like such a smoky look to rush with. But if you're of a like, I guess medium to light to fair skin tone, I feel like this one will work easier for you because you can do this all over the lid or this all in your crease and then put that on your outer V and pick one of these shimmers for the lid or and then this shimmer for the inner corner, or you can put this on your lid and just drag this at the inner corner. So I feel like this is a good go-to palette for rushing. I usually have to pair this with something else, so sometimes I'll pair this with the the glam face palette I showed you, the dark one, and I feel like that works nicely in conjunction with that for me. So that's where mine is usually used, but I want to show them individually since I said I was going to show the 3 minis last individually. So next I have the Biba. This to me is a good one for people who like neutral tones. Like for example, I usually like to use this shade on the outer V, put this one in the crease, and just put this pink matte all over the lid, and I'll put this in my inner corner. I don't really use cream shade in here that often. I usually just stick to the 4 I named, and then this was alone. So to me, this is more of what the palette is for me personally, these 4 shades right here. But it does nicely for that when I'm in a rush and I want a nice look and I'm not necessarily looking for a warmer, because in my personal opinion this is more neutral than warm. So that's what I use it for. And then when I want a warmer, of course I have to reach for the Natasha Denona mini bronze palette, because I feel like that's definitely what this gives. It definitely gives a lot of warmth to it. I get a really nice eye look to it with it, and I have like a go-to eye look that I use with this one when I'm in a rush and I know I can get a nice look out of it. So it's usually I put this one in the outer V, and then I think I put this one in the crease and this one on the lid, and then I just use this as my inner corner. If I remember correctly, that's how I do it. I haven't done it in a really long time because I'm not really big on neutrals, but you know, this is a nice palette for an emergency go-to warm look when I want to get stuff done quickly and get out the door. So it's a nice palette for that. It's good quality. I don't own the actual bronze palette just because I don't really like those tones. Plus, I've heard people saying it's very repetitive and you get a lot of the same looks with it. So that's another reason I was kind of just like, I don't need that. I'm fine without it. I'll do just fine. But those are my 5 go-to palettes for the latte makeup trend that's going on right now. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, y'all are diamonds. Comment down below and tell me if you have any of these palettes and if they're like your go-to, like I need to rush out the door palettes too, because I'm always interested to see, like, when you have to rush out the door and you still want to look cute, what do you be using? Because those are the things that I use. I'm interested to see what you use. But I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.